So I'm your host today, and I'm doing this together with the three other people, and actually with 8 people, including the deputy representatives. They will be introduced later to you. It's the first edition. We're very excited. We hope it's going to be valuable for you, but also that it's going to be a lot of fun. The main objective for us is to be in touch with you, to interact with you, to listen to you, and to see if we can already help you in this dialogue. And if not, then I'm sure we can help you after this dialogue. And before we're going to start, we first want to have a little bit of an idea where everybody is active in the Americas, or maybe even not anywhere active yet. So we're going to drop a little poll, and then you can, it's multiple choice. So if you're active in more countries or cities, then you can let it know. You can choose all. You can choose Mexico, Los Angeles, USA, Texas, Argentina. And in the meantime, we're gonna move on. It's rules of engagement is not that strict. We're not really making sure that all the rules will be enforced, but just for you to have a bit of an expectation. First part will be presentation. That looks like a Zoom webinar. Obviously, it is a Zoom meeting because you can see each other, but you will be muted, and there's no space at this moment for question and answer. But soon, you're going to move over to the dialogues, and we're going to split the group in 4. So there will be 4 rooms. There you can like switch on the microphone, ask questions, but also respect each other. So if there's a lot of background noise, just mute your microphone so everybody is very clearly, well, you can hear everybody very clear. And just to make sure, if you think you missed something, we're going to share everything afterwards. And also if you feel you couldn't ask your questions or the answer was not what you desired, then of course you can also reach out to us later on after this dialogue. So let's see the results of the poll. I see a lot of people from Mexico. I also know that the NBSO Mexico has a lot of friends, so that's good. Also a bunch of people in Los Angeles, some people in Texas. Well, a lot of people in the USA in general. So I think it's a nice spread all over. So good to see. Well, you know, the reason why we're doing this is to see as an NBSO how we can help you. And maybe the first question you have, what is exactly a Netherlands Business Support Office? Well, let me very briefly explain you that on the next slide. So we have around 22 offices worldwide in 11 countries. These are some pictures of all the people in the teams. They are operated by RVO. That's where the headquarters is, and we are part of the economic network worldwide. And also in the Americas. And if we go on the next slide, we zoom in to the Americas. This is the situation in the Americas. We have 6 Netherlands Business Support Offices, 4 of them joining this dialogue. Brazil, unfortunately, due to the situation, they have some other priorities than the economy at the moment, as you might guess if you viewed the news. But we are here. And also we included all the embassies and consulate because together we are forming this Dutch economic network. So there are many, so you're well represented. And if we move on to the next slide, you can actually see the people that help you in these NBSOs. Every office has two people. They are both equally important. It's the chief representative and the deputy representative. And later on in the breakout, they will introduce themselves a little bit more to you. So these are the 2 people that assist you in the regions in this dialogue. Well, and then let's move on what we can do for you. And you have to see the Netherlands Business Support Office like a huge toolbox. We have many tools available, and it's really depending on the request we get or the situation, what tools we are using. So we try to always be very tailored, listening to what's going on, and also connected to the conditions locally. And before we move on, because you know it's really about what you desire. We also were wondering what you hope to get out of this dialogue. So we have a little poll there, so you can choose. I hope all the options are there. Maybe there are other options you would like to say, but it's would you like to especially share knowledge, learn about the NBSOs, getting business context out of it, or is it just for your orientation, or you just like to have a nice talk with us? That could also be the case. We're moving on to actually explain you a little bit more about the service, because we think it's important that you know in the broad sense what we're doing. There's a lot of things out there, starting with the knowledge and information. And this is in a way, it's the first step mostly that we start with. We get a request from a company, or even we see an opportunity, and we give some general information, macroeconomic information, but also about the context. And as soon as we see that there is a match between the product, the service that you offer, and the market that we're in, we try to make it more tailored. And we don't try, we actually make it more tailored and see where exactly you have to be. So my colleagues are going to help me to introduce the other three segments. So in total there are 4. And the next one will be introduced to you by my colleague Bastian in Argentina.
Good afternoon. Well, as we all know, doing business, you need partners for doing business. That might be clients, distributors, or even suppliers. Well, at the NBSO, it's our main objective to find and match the right contacts and to help you to convert these contacts in valuable contracts. So let's say you're looking for clients in a specific market. We already provided a tailor-made information, and then we'll start a search to provide you with a list of the most important companies that that are matching your criteria. We'll add a company profile to that and the contact details so that you can follow up. But maybe you're also looking for a distributor and you prefer a warm introduction. And then we'll select one or a few companies that we know we're interested in exploring further opportunities with you. And well, in either case, we will use our extensive network to share the contacts with you. And we also know the culture and the local context. And thereby will we help you to navigate in the local networks and to help to build your own. So thanks.
Thank you, Bastian. And we move on to the local support, which will be explained to you by Steven from Mexico.
Thanks, Peter. So yeah, basically the NBSO, we are your local supporters on the ground. So we can assist you or even groups in doing business in the countries we're at. For me, that will be Mexico. So as we are 100% funded by the Dutch government, almost all our services are free of charge. And our focus is on helping really get the companies make transactions in any kind faster than without help of the NBSOs. We do this with individual support and collective. Individual can be that we assist you in your business trip. For us or for Argentina, if you don't speak Spanish, we can go with you to your first meeting to help translating even. We can do background checks, connect you to our existing network, which we already have because we have several years of experience in our country, and we can support in trade barriers. Collective events at the moment, it's a little bit on the downside, but we help organize and contribute to prepare meetings, events, matchmaking and conference. So that's basically the local support we can give, Peter.
All right, thank you so much, Steven. And last but not least, both as person and as service, is promoting and representing the Netherlands. And Saskia will give you a little bit of an explanation there.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. Well, what we've heard before, all the different services, they're all part of promoting and representing the Netherlands. The NBSOs are part of the Dutch Economic Network, and we are promoting and representing the Netherlands abroad. Our goal is to strengthen the economic position of the Netherlands as a leading, innovative trade and investment partner. So that's why we have all the tools to do this. And of course, we like to work with multiple year programs to the different Dutch top sectors to create more awareness and long-term collaboration. And how do we do that? Well, you all have been part of it maybe. We organize trade missions, we organize incoming missions, and we organize conferences. And what Steven just said before, at the moment, yeah, it's a little bit hard to organize it, but we're still working and seeing how we can do it in the future, because we know it's very important to stay in touch with the different countries. And we all do it under the umbrella of the new orange NL logo, which you see throughout the presentation. So all of us are representing and promoting the Netherlands. And again, we hope we can help you with the different services we have to help you get international business. Thank you.
Thank you, Saskia. So this gave you a bit of a general overview. The setup of the Netherlands Business Support Office is the same. However, depending on the situation and the conditions, it might be different per office, how the services are organized to have the best service for you. And in that respect, We also want to move on to show you a little bit about the different landscapes of these destinations that we're active in, so that you also get an idea how different they can be. Starting with Los Angeles, and this is a bit for beginners, and in a way we opened in January, so we're also in a bit we're also beginners. But I also have to say to people that US is a continent, California is the 5th largest economy in the world, and then Los Angeles is actually a bigger a region and country than the Netherlands, if you consider it as a country. You can see in this image that the Netherlands fits twice into Los Angeles. And talking about the size of Los Angeles, if you look at the different sectors in Los Angeles, of course, it is known for Hollywood entertainment, and absolutely that is true. There's a lot to do there. But also, as you can imagine, this huge sized city, there are also other challenges and opportunities. And not to forget the Olympics that are coming up and the World Cup that are coming up in 2028 and 2026, respectively. Well, the most important thing is it's about your business. So what we do is depending on the request from the Netherlands. And the good news is that since we opened a new office here, we can open the doors for you. So that's sort of the main message. We can do this individually and also collectively, as mentioned before by Steven. So then if we look at the other markets, then first let's have a look at Argentina, which will be presented to you by Bastian.
Thank you, Peter. Well, Argentina is located at the south of the continent. It has the 3rd economy of Latin America and 43 million people. It's also the 8th largest country worldwide, and it has a great agricultural production and vast natural reserves such as water, mining, and fossil reserves. An interesting fact is that historically Netherlands is the 3rd foreign investor in Argentina, and there's a long-standing presence of Dutch companies. The main sectors are agri-food, water and logistics, where the Dutch businesses help to add value in sustainable food production, and we also assist in shipping more safely, faster, and more cost effectively. Nonetheless, there's also some other sectors such as health, ICT, and the creative industry where there are interesting opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bastian. And another huge country in Latin America is Mexico, and that will be represented by you by Steven.
Mexico. Yes, Mexico is a long-lasting trade partner of the Netherlands. So during the first quarter of 2020, the Netherlands were the 5th biggest investor in Mexico. This was presented by the Mexican federal government last month. The Netherlands came in before the likes of Japan, China, France, and India, but we were behind, obviously, behind the USA and Spain. So some recent investments that were done in Mexico by the Dutch is a new brewery that Heineken opened in the north, making Mexico the country where Heineken is brewing the most beer worldwide, even if you include the Netherlands. So that's a lot of beer. Even, in fact, Mexico is the biggest exporter of beers worldwide. And also Shell is opening gas stations all over the country. And Mexico is one of the only countries in the world where Shell is still opening gas stations. So even though we're such a big trade partner with Mexico, we still maintain a positive trade balance. So we export more to Mexico than we import, and we focus on sectors including the likes of agro, automotive, and oil and gas. So if you see a little bit here the map of Mexico, you can see that there's already a lot of Dutch companies there, and you can focus a little bit on a triangle that you can see with Guadalajara, Monterrey, and Mexico City. And right in the middle is a little city, not so little, but there's a city called Querétaro, and that's where our office is, because our office is in a city where are already 60 Dutch companies. So we hope soon there will be some more Dutch companies there. Thanks, Peter.
Okay, Steven, thank you for the quick overview. And then we got Texas, of course, which is going to be presented to you by Saskia.
Well, thank you, Peter. When you think about Texas, most people think about oil, gas, and cowboys. Well, luckily, that's not the case anymore. Some facts. Texas is the second largest state of the United States. It's half the size of Europe. And when you see the Netherlands in Texas, then you have any idea how big it is or how small the Netherlands is. I can call you a lot of facts, but what's interesting to know, we're also the second of the 10th largest economy in the world if we would be a country. So that's huge. And what's interesting about Texas is the low cost of living. What we see is that a lot of people from California move to Texas because of that. And of course, a lot of other things. And one of the other things is there's no income tax. You see some export and import figures, but you can read it by yourself. So I would like to go to the sectors now. There are a lot of sectors that are interesting. What I mentioned before, oil and gas is the most famous one. Another one that's very important to us is the life science and health sector. We've been working on a multiple year plan for years now, and we had some trade missions. And yeah, the reason because of that is the Texas Medical Center. We have the largest Texas Medical Center in the world. Well, besides life science, you see some floodings over here. Texas is also famous for floodings. And that's good for the Dutch because the Dutch are very famous for water management. So I think we can do a lot of things within the water sector. And of course, agricultural is, I think, a very interesting market. And I say I think because we just did a study. We don't do a lot on agriculture yet, but we all invite you to come over and see what the possibilities are. And finally, I want to say something about startups because again, California is famous for startups, but we're doing a lot to get them here as well to create interesting ecosystems in Austin and in Houston. So when you're a startup and you're interested in doing business and you don't want to pay too much, come to Texas.
All right, Saskia, thank you very much for this pitch. And yeah, so I hope everybody's still awake. We try to keep it as quickly and visual for you as possible. And now we're actually getting to the more exciting part. But let's first see the results of the poll that you have answered before. Okay, that's interesting. A lot of people want to go for the knowledge sharing. That's definitely going to happen. I hope you already learned a little bit about the NBSOs. Some people are here for getting business contacts. We have to manage expectations here that we're only Dutch people here. So unless you're going to do business together, it's really about how to get in touch. And definitely we're going to find those business contacts after these calls if you're still interested. And it's also nice to see that people are just here for orientation and are happy to talk to us. So yeah, so and also the latest information you will get. That's absolutely what you can expect. So thanks for your answer. Let me we're going to move on quickly to the breakouts. Let me explain you a little bit how that goes. So I see that the mic. So you're gonna be split it into different groups, and that goes all automatically. And there you will the different chief representatives and deputy representatives will receive you there, and then after like 12 to 30 minutes, you will automatically be transferred to the other room. It's like a normal conference where you have to walk to the other room. We stay in our room, and you walk to the other room virtually. So that takes like 2 to 3 minutes when everybody's mingled again, but don't panic if you get a button that you have to go to another room. It's all automatically. You can just stay where you are and it's going to be arranged. So also for the breakouts, we don't really have rules, but try to respect each other. Keep your questions very concise, keep your answers concise, and try to find a good balance and that everybody can speak and share their information. This is not the moment to go into a lot of details about one specific topic. It's really a dialogue about how to find or how others have found their business partners and how we can learn from that. So thank you very much for participating in this first dialogue, and we really hope to see you back on the 16th of June in our second dialogue on pitfalls on doing business in the Americas.